Amid mounting sexual harassment charges against Junior Minister of External Affairs MJ Akbar, the man has finally returned to India. He landed at the IGI airport at 8:50 this morning. When confronted by the media outside, Akbar said that he will be releasing a statement later. Evading further questions, he left for home. Remember, several women journalists have come out with their horrific accounts against Akbar. As the chorus grows for his sacking, all eyes are now on the man himself. It remains to be seen if Akbar will be ready to face a probe into the Me Too charges and resign today. Meanwhile, journalist Ghazala Wahab, who accused MJ Akbar of sexual harassment, has urged the government to sack MJ Akbar. Ghazala tweeted that if the government allows him to escape, it should also bury its Beti Bachao slogan.
There will be a statement later on.
Are you going to resign?
There will be a
Geeta Mohan now joins me live from the newsroom. Kamaljeet Sandhu joining me from outside MJ Akbar's residence. Remember, he got back to his house this morning. Geeta, coming first to you. The only statement that MJ Akbar has made after landing at the IGI airport is that there will be a statement coming from him soon. Now, the big question is, will this be his defense or is it more likely to be a resignation?
Well, Vedika, it looks like the latter. It seems like the decision after deliberations have been taken. The BJP president saying that there needs to be probe and clarity is because he's trying to protect the others who could fall prey to political conspiracies, false allegations, and it is his job to do that, to ensure that there are no other victims of any false allegation. But these allegations are for real, and they are very strong allegations against the sitting minister. The reason why, after a lot of deliberations, the party and the government looked into what the political cost of keeping him on is going to be, and it seems like it is going to be a huge political cost to bear if he continues. While there is going to be no sacking of the minister, it seems like in a statement which will be issued in some time from now, Vedika, it seems like there will be an explanation where he would try to explain that he is innocent, but it is untenable for him to continue right now and embarrass the government. He would like to clear the name of all the clear his name of all these charges, and then maybe return. These are the lines that we are picking up. Might be things that the minister might explain in terms of the clarification that he gives in his statement. There is no confirmation of whether he's going to step down in that statement itself, whether that's going to be not just a clarification but also a hint or a message of his resignation or him stepping down.
Yes.
There is no clarity on that front, Vedika, but it is only a matter of time, because for the government to explain so many cases with ages varying from 17 to his own age group, it just seems unlikely that the government will let him stay on.
11 and counting. Geeta, do stay with me for a moment. Kamaljeet also joining me live from outside MJ Akbar's residence. Kamaljeet, anything that your sources are picking up on where MJ Akbar could be heading to from his house, if he is going to? Because every possible movement that the man now makes is going to be under the scanner, at least for the next 2 days.
Well, absolutely, Vedika. The Me Too controversy now really snowballing and has hit the government, and more so MJ Akbar, his position becoming untenable by the minute. What we know is that he's been inside since morning, since the time he's landed. He's not spoken to anyone, but in some time we do expect some movement or the other. Remember, he's being extremely tight-lipped. It's unlikely, he said. The only thing which came out of him was in the morning when he said a statement will be issued. So that is going to be perhaps the case in this matter, but again, all eyes are definitely on him. He knows the controversy is snowballed. His position is really untenable, with 11 women journalists now really accusing him. This is obviously a major embarrassment, and the longer he stays, the tougher the position becomes for the Narendra Modi government. But at this point of time, they're not just weighing their options, but they're also trying to withstand this entire controversy, because as Geeta was saying, there could be political positions which could be taken. There could be false accusations which could be made against other ministers if a sudden decision has been made. But what we heard from the likes of Maneka Gandhi, where she said panel would be formed by 4 judges, and perhaps if this is the first case which could actually ever go, because remember, there is no FIR, there is no case in this particular matter. That is where the position becomes weak.
Interesting.
But the women are standing their ground. They are making those accusations. They're on Twitter. And they're also saying that he should be boycotted. What Ghazala has now really said, that if he goes and if the Narendra Modi government fails to take action against him, the other foreign countries who are backing the Me Too movement should really come into the picture and go against MJ Akbar. Now again, very embarrassing for the Narendra Modi government.
Yes.
Again, they will leave it entirely up to MJ Akbar whether he's willing to really step down on his own.
Well, it's only a matter of time as sources are now presenting their outlook to us. Geeta and as well as Kamaljeet and Tanushree, do stay with me. I'm going to come back to you in a moment from now. A lot of reactions coming in, especially after MJ Akbar has landed at the IGI airport. Remember, he's been holed up inside his house for the last 2 hours ever since he's landed in the national capital. Listen in.
नहीं, उसकी जांच के लिए कहा था। मैंने जब पता है एग्जैक्टली क्या कहा, तुम्हारे मीडिया पर मैं निर्भर कर रहा हूँ, परंतु नेचुरली ये पार्लियामेंट में इशू बनेगी यदि इसको नहीं निपटाएंगे तो।
नहीं, देखिए, उन पर बहुत गंभीर आरोप लगा है और एक महिला ने नहीं लगाए हैं, कई महिलाओं ने आरोप लगाया है। तो स्वाभाविक रूप से उनका पद पर बने रहना नैतिकता के आधार पर बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं है और उनको अपना पद छोड़ना चाहिए। लेकिन हम लोगों को आश्चर्य इस बात है कि एक व्यक्ति जिस पर बलात्कार का आरोप है पहले से, वो अभी भी मोदी जी की कैबिनेट में बचा हुआ है।
Joining me on the phone line is Kanika now. She's also spoken out against MJ Akbar in the past. Kanika, what were you expecting this morning once you got news of MJ Akbar returning to India, to the national capital? Were you expecting an immediate resignation?
I don't know whether I was expecting a I can't preempt what Mr. Akbar is going to do, but I'm definitely expecting a response. I'm definitely expecting him to say something, to accept these charges. That is what I'm expecting. Really, actually, if you ask me. And I'm waiting. If he has said that, he's going to respond, then well, if he's sitting and writing out that response, fine. If he's going to come out and give that response, fine. But what is the time limit? Later is, I'm sorry, but an evasion. Let us see what that time limit is. I mean, if it's 1 hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, certainly can't be 5 years.
Yes. And Kanika, do you expect the government to play a stronger role? Were you expecting them to actually go ahead and ask for that resignation from MJ Akbar, or wait for him to give it himself?
Yes. I think that we must give Mr. Akbar the chance. I do believe that to say it himself. And I wish that he does the right thing.
And do you feel more emboldened now that you have so many others coming out and speaking up against him?
I am emboldened now because others are speaking. Yes, I mean, one is always, I'm not emboldened. I think I have always spoken against all kinds of abuse of women and all sorts of discriminations against women, including myself. Whether one stands to lose or to gain, one does it. But yes, I think that there is a general level of empowerment that I myself feel, that we feel hopeful that people will start to introspect and really do the right thing in the media.
All right, Kanika, thanks for joining us on the phone line there. Kanika Gehlot speaking to India Today after MJ Akbar has returned to the national capital. Joining me live once again are Kamaljeet as well as Tanushree. Kamaljeet, coming to you. The more time MJ Akbar takes to come ahead with a statement or even announce his resignation, the more the pressure on the government itself.
नहीं वो वाला सारा नहीं, इसके
resigned, but remember, we were still waiting for that official confirmation. But what is now really important and significant is what really happens to the case. Will he really get away? All these things become huge because remember, these 11 women have come out after several years. His position has already become untenable. The government is facing major embarrassment. People are questioning the government about their women empowerment claims when they're talking about Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao. Here is a minister who's at the helm of affairs, who was on a foreign tour. Now that he's come back, there is obviously a speculation perhaps that he will go on his own. So no matter what time that really comes in, there is a major damage which has already been done. What the party can now do is perhaps go for a damage control by distancing itself from the acts, because remember, these are misdemeanors, these are sexual harassment in his past. This is not something which is perhaps happened during the Narendra Modi government, but they can't look the other way. These are serious issues. This is actually a crime because this amounts for sexual harassment. Will a panel really be formed? Will this be the first case? Will the heads roll is something that all eyes, especially the victims, are looking at, and so is the country. Will justice be done in this particular case? All this obviously comes into entire focus now that MJ Akbar is really back. But again, at this point of time, clearly the party is putting the onus and responsibility on MJ Akbar as to what decision needs to be taken because remember, he was on a foreign tour with Ghazala now coming back and saying if the government is not willing to act against him, that the foreign embassies and the foreign countries should really boycott him as a foreign affairs minister in Narendra Modi government.
Kamalji, do stay with me. Tanushree also joining me live from the national capital. Tanushree, you were there at the IGI airport when MJ Akbar stepped out. Tell us more about the man's body language. We've been speaking about the junior minister of the MEA for the last 7 days. We've been talking about how his absence has only made speculation grow further on whether he would come back earlier rather than later. Tell us more about the man's body language when he stepped out. Was he defensive? He's only said a few words to the media.
Well, Vedika, the time is running out really quickly for MJ Akbar, and it looks like the time is almost up, in fact, for the Union Minister MJ Akbar. Now, if we talk about his demeanor, if we talk about his body language, this morning when he came out of the international airport, this was the first time he was facing the Indian media after lots of sexual misconduct allegations surfaced against him on social media. And if we talk about his demeanor, he did look tense, he did look worried. He had absolutely no answers for the media questions. He was trying to dodge the questions, but just one statement he came up with for all the media question was that a statement which will be issued later, and for a lack of a better word, Vedika, it was extremely insensitive and an extremely shameful reply to the media questions. Now coming to the BJP's, now coming to the central government's defense as far as MJ Akbar is concerned, the government is still saying that we cannot take the allegations on someone's face value. We need to check the veracity. But also remember, Vedika, this is the same government which is also realizing the fact that this is not just one woman. Several women have come out and given their horrific details, horrific testimonies against MJ Akbar of sexual misconduct, of sexual harassment during his years when he was a journalist. And you know, this is not just about India. It is one movement now. Me Too India has become one movement which is cutting across the boundaries of countries. In fact, one of the CNN journalists has also spoken against MJ Akbar, who is right now representing India overseas, who was in fact representing India overseas till yesterday. So definitely, as Kamal mentioned, as my colleague Geeta mentioned, that it's the MJ Akbar's position right now is untenable, and also governments, you know, there is absolutely no possible explanation which can come from the government for these sexual harassment allegation which has been put against MJ Akbar. Now, what really needs to be seen is that whether the Narendra Modi government decide to concede and remove him as a cabinet minister, or whether they decide to retain him. Over to you. All right,
or whether he steps down himself, taking moral responsibility till further probe in that case, where a series of journalists, women journalists, have come out and spoken out against MJ Akbar.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.